Hey everybody, welcome to iScoop. Here with my co-host Bastion.
Hey.
And then silent Corey behind the behind the camera. We're actually gonna try and incorporate him to where you can see him. Not this week, but in the coming future, expect to see it's Epion. The Z's silent, right?
X silent, yeah.
The X, Epion.
Just Epi.
Yeah. Put your channel in the description. He's going to start streaming Magic every Friday nights. So if you can't make it to F&M because of, any number of local ordinances, you can still check out some Magic content. So there's not too much that you guys don't know about at this point. Modern Horizons 2. By the time you're seeing this video is out, I hope you've enjoyed your drafts, your plays. The prices have already started to tank from what I've seen on almost everything except for a couple of mythics. So Ragavan, not the Merfolk one's going down.
Merfolk one's going down?
Yeah. Cabal Coffers, the extended art has stayed jacked.
So that was a surprise.
Right. What are some of the other ones? Grief is expensive still. Pretty much the Jund cards are going to stay up in price. So that's fun. It's good because if you notice, I didn't say the fetch lands are still expensive.
Did they come down?
Yeah. So for context,
the Star was the more expensive one out of the ones that got reprinted in Horizon.
Yeah, and last I looked, now mind you, you guys are seeing this in a week after we recorded it, but last I looked, Scalding Tarn's classic frame was $80. That's less than what a regular Scalding Tarns costed before the set came out.
Wow.
So, plummet they did.
Close to, 100, 110?
Yeah, depending on the format. I think it started to go down and Misty Rainforest started to supersede it because broken green-blue cards.
Yeah.
And that color really cares about land, so landfall mattered.
How much is that now?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll check it.
Okay. But yeah, so there's that. We have seen a few cards for the new D&D set. They spoiled it. Well, we've seen a few before. We saw the Vorpal sword and stuff like that. But it's some character's laughter. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
It's a colorless blue.
My God.
Each opponent, not target opponent, each opponent exiles cards from the top of the library until they've exiled a sum total of 20 or more mana value.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That's wild.
So we were discussing that in the group chat, and I think, you could word it around anything. I think that it doesn't just mill, because if you had Leyline of the Void out, it would check for a mana value of 20 from all the sum total cards in the graveyard, and since everything's being exiled, so by making it exile from the get-go, it does increase the power of the card at first, but it would actually been way more powerful if it went to the graveyard.
Yeah.
Because you start with Leyline, a dimmer mill deck. That's cool. I wonder if anybody's ever tried that before.
Yeah, right.
Leyline of the Void and just insta-mill every opponent.
It does sidestep escape creatures.
Yes.
Nobody's going to Croxa you after you... Or Ox of Agonis you after you milled.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that card.
Right. It's...
You said it's... What is it? 1 blue?
Yep. Sorcery. And then for scale and power level in current design, we've also seen a blue. Each opponent mills 14 cards, cycling a colorless and a blue. When this card is cycled, each opponent mills 4. So 3 mana, and I would estimate that the 20 mana value, unless they're lucky and they have some big beaters, in a constructed format would be about 15 cards. Because your average CMC in an aggro deck, which is Mill's weakest matchup, is going to be 1 to 2, especially if it's a Loros deck.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Highest possibly 3.
Yeah.
And that just depends on what kind of aggro deck it is.
Absolutely. I'm trying to see if there's any other Dungeons and Dragons cards that were spoiled that I don't know about.
While he's looking that up,
Oh yeah,
this week we're going to drink Tapestry of Obscenity from Bad Dad Brewing in Fairmount, Indiana. This, I love the name of it. It sounds like a magic card.
I'm noticing a trend here.
Yeah, it, there's the artwork, which is pretty cool. I like to try to imagine if Seb McKinnon were to paint the Tapestry of Obscenity, what exactly that would look like. This conversation is rather nostalgic for the two of us because the last time we drank this, there were technical difficulties and the episode got lost.
This is very tasty. Okay, so there wasn't one more other card spoiled. Technically, there's been more than that, but I think we've talked about them at least a little bit. The other card is a white jellyfish. It's called Flump. And it's a colorless and a white creature jellyfish, defender flying 0/4. Whenever Flump is dealt damage, you and target opponent each draw a card.
Wow.
Yeah. I love that it's an onomatopoeia. You just throw something on like a bed, you get that flump.
It's got that going for it.
Yeah.
Automatopoeia, the best thing that can be said about that card.
Sounds like a Batman villain. The joke is that 100% is a Batman villain named Onomatopoeia. And if you remember the old school Batman, where they put pow, blam, those were all onomatopoeias. It was funny.
What's the 3 mana sorcery for you and your opponent to each draw 3 that's in Strixhaven?
Oh, Secret Rendezvous or something like that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'll pay the mana, you draw the cards.
No, that card is awesome in Commander, though. It gives you a lot of political swing, and when you're in a mono white deck and you're playing 3 to draw 3,
Yeah.
you still don't feel bad about it because you've got Wraths.
I'm glad it's doing something there. In draft, no one has ever even played it against me.
It's
Like I've never had an opponent who was dumb enough to spend 3 mana for me to draw those 3.
Yes, not really tied out.
Oh yeah, you can definitely work towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and Narset or something.
Yeah. So this is a card that I know we haven't talked about, but I think we've mentioned the effect. Cloister Gargoyle, 2 colorless and a white, 0/4 artifact Gargoyle. When Cloister Gargoyle enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. As long as you've completed a dungeon, Cloister Gargoyle gets +3/+0 and has flying.
And what's the dungeon?
We don't
I haven't
know.
announced it yet.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds exciting.
Yes. I hope that this is contraptions. I hope that you put it on the same thing that you put contraptions on. And to complete a dungeon, you've got to go through 3 cycles.
Yeah. No. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Huh. Well, I like the flavor already. I like the flavor of this too. It's a nice kind of bitter bright hops.
Yes. I agree. Okay. So, I don't remember seeing this Brunor Battlehammer. Corey, do you? 2 colorless, red and white. Legendary creature, Dwarf Warrior. 5/3. Each creature you control gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to it. You may pay 0 rather than pay the equip cost for its first equip ability you activate each turn. I immediately think that 1-drop +10/+10 hammer with equip of 10.
And I'm also immediately thinking of Wildlife as well.
Yeah. Or our Argentium armor. Do you remember that from original Zendikar? It's kind of like Annihilator.
Is there a lot of equipment in Commander?
Oh yeah, it's the build is for Voltron.
Yeah.
You know, you assemble your pieces for your giant
Even
mech.
still, there's
Yeah.
also like the sort of token decks, probably like what's from I think Eldritch, the equipment whenever a creature ETBs for the charge counter on this equipment, Creature gets +1/+1 for each charge counter.
I know what you're talking about, and I think it was in one of the precons. I don't know. I think it was in the main set. It's the Mace of Valiant Mace or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, token decks love that.
This card makes all your token decks hate you. Find out the top 10 secrets of this card. Local singles in your area.
Next we find out there's a like black or white or artifact equipment that's just Skulk Lamp.
Oh. So while we're here, did you ever play D&D?
Yeah, some.
Does
Not an expert.
Lolth Spider Queen ring any bells to you?
Yeah.
Apparently she's a big deal. I'm ignorant to it.
She is a big deal. For a long time, she was the kind of god of the drow, the dark elves. And then, if you're totally deep into D&D, put something in the comments correcting this. But essentially, over the course of time, she kind of kept them evil, and eventually, I think at least some drow started to say, "Hey, we want to make our own path. We want to be our own people." And there was a big drow rebellion against Lolth.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Okay.
she's a kind of a subterranean spider goddess.
yeah. So she's a 5-cast planeswalker, which is weird because I don't know. Can you travel between the realms in D&D? Maybe that could she?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I would assume that you can, but I don't know the mechanism.
Okay, so it's a 5-cast, 3 colorless, black, 4 loyalty. Whenever a creature you control dies, put a loyalty counter on Lolth. 0, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Neg 3, create 2/1 black spider creature tokens with menace and reach. Neg 8, you get an emblem whenever an opponent deals combat damage to 1 or more creatures you control. If that player lost less than 8 life this turn, they lose life equal to the difference.
Yeah, I think that was earlier in the order for a while.
It was, but I wanted to talk about it.
I need that for my taste of that. Just for the static.
I mean, yeah, but what are you going to do with it? Because
Again,
you can get
it's
more.
just the static thing. Same reason I'm thinking about putting
Yeah, but what's the static do for you?
like what whenever a creature dies.
Yeah,
You put a loyalty counter on Lolth every time one of your own creatures dies.
so you're just going to make a bunch of 2/1s because her emblem is bad in redundancy.
No.
Because it equal to the difference of 8 if they haven't lost 8 this turn. Is much better, yeah. Because if you have 2 emblems, they'll both trigger. Like, say you block, right?
Yeah.
They'll both trigger, yeah. And then for the people who haven't picked up on it yet, the first one will resolve because nothing resolves simultaneously, and they'll lose the 8 life that they haven't lost this turn. Well, then the next one will check and be like, okay, the difference, you've lost 8 out of 8, so 0. She's okay. But we do have more Secret Lair goodies that we can talk about. You looked at them earlier. I thought I saw you looking at them. Do you have a favorite one? I know you're an old school
My favorites
player.
are the Dan Frazier's, and my second favorites are the Mark Poole.
You like art though.
I love art, and specifically, I love old school Magic art. The Dan Frazier images I probably spent more time looking at, and in particular, these. What he's done are the guild signets from Ravnica.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
And he's done them in the old style that he used to do, Healing Salve or any of the Moxes, things like that. With his he does these beautiful swirled backgrounds. They,
I prefer that to the hands on the Moxen.
Oh yeah, I would agree. There's just something really magical about that art, and then the baubles that he comes up with are always spectacular. This art really takes me back,
And they're kind of homages to the symbols, though. Like you look at the Azorius one, it's the 2 triangles without the points and the lines.
Yeah, Yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah.
I think Dan Frazier hit it out of the park with those. My second favorite set of them are the Mark Pool. Where are they? Another, set of just classic pieces like the old Howling Mine with those weird eyes looking out,
but in the new frame,
don't look nearly as menacing as maybe they should. The counter spell was always great. It kind of a foppish mage looking confused as his spell turns into two little streamers. The Birds of Paradise artwork, I think, was supposed to be the artwork for Volcanic Island, yeah.
I believe you're correct.
But since the birds were front and center, they decided to make that card and have somebody else do it.
Which is weird, because I'm pretty sure Volcanic Island was not in the first set.
Oh, yeah, there was one... I don't remember what the story was now, but yeah, I think you're right. I think there was one dual land that was missing originally.
Yeah, and it's like objectively the rarest one.
Yeah, maybe it was the Volcanic Island. Then I find this interesting too, that we have a couple of very classic pieces, and then Mark Poole's Wasteland is kind of a transitional piece. It's
Yes.
Obviously he's painted it more recently. He's much more skilled at the time. Cool library throwback.
Yes. Did he do the art for Library of Alexandria? I want to say he did.
I want to say yes, but there is a little bit of overlap of style in some of those old ones.
Right.
There have been a couple of times when I've thought, like, when I've confused Poole and Frazier and even Doug Schuler from time to time. But I also like his Brainstorm and his Balance are much more sophisticated pieces of art. He's clearly... he's come a long way since, 1995?
I am this close to buying a Library of Alexandria and putting it on my cube. Very close to it. If I can find one cheap enough, I'm going to.
Go for it.
Yeah, I say go for it too.
Yeah.
Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, because I was about to put the new one in, I'm like, the old one's not that expensive. Relatively speaking. Compare that to like Moxon or whatever.
Right.
Because you can't play library in any format.
So it exists exclusively for the cube.
Yes.
For the cube.
Buggers. If there was a collector's edition version of it, I would use it.
The cube hunters.
It does, man. like it'll sit there by my computer, and like GG owns cards that are proxied in my personal queue. And like I'll be going through and I'll be sorting and I'll just see it and I'm like, I'm the boss. I can just take it and put it in there. But then the business doesn't work if I just like take all the good stuff. Because that's the stuff people would buy. And so like I've had this what was the reprint Thoughtseize. That was in original Theros, right? Somewhere in that block.
It was first reprinting Theros.
Yeah.
The original printing was, I think, more.
Yeah. So I've got the Theros one, but then in GG's inventory, I'm pretty sure I have a foil Lorwyn one, which is like, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can do it. I possess the capacity. Bringing out the second, not sponsor, but we would let them do it if they wanted.
Yeah, if Two Toms ever wanted to sponsor us, they could. Two Toms Brewery in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Corey, you should be tagging them in all our posts.
Made this Tres Leches.
Looks
Yeah, we could start
amber.
tagging the breweries. Some
looks
breweries
thick.
are fairly responsive. Yeah, this is...
Fuck.
How many C's are we talking?
14 C's. Oh, speaking of extra C's, did you see that they're going to be splitting one of the C's down south? It'll just be called the Southern Sea.
Huh?
Which one?
I think it's Pacific that's in between Americas and the and Africa.
The hell are you talking about?
Geography. You know how there's like
They're undoing the oceans?
well they're adding a new one because it has its own unique ecosystem.
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure it was in the Pacific Ocean. So
Fascinating.
yeah,
That's exciting.
I didn't know that.
I almost said 7 Seas. Oh wait, no, there's a new one, 8, but I don't think people would have got it.
Since this is a Magic podcast, I would be thinking like Seas Claim and Spreading Seas.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
that's what we'd
That's
be.
an 8 Seas deck.
That is
But I
a
think
beautiful
it's
nose.
gonna be 12 Seas now.
The chocolate?
Ooh. It's a good stout. There's a lot of lactose, milk,
Stout.
chocolate.
He's a stout man drinking a stout drink.
Is a good one. 2 Toms. Yeah, it's a milk stout. God damn, 8.5%.
Jesus. I'm glad we're splitting these.
2 Toms make some serious beers.
Yeah, they do. Power this, you filthy casual.
Little time warp in a can.
Oh, man.
Speaking of time warp, now banned in historic.
something brain sees. You've already heard my argument. Brainstorm, not brain sees.
I have,
I thought time.
but they haven't.
Oh, did that one get lost to time?
Yeah, that was last week.
That's what I was telling you about.
It was lost to time. Fuck.
That's okay.
So it is like we got time warped.
Yeah, we could say it again. So the big question is should it have been Brainstorm? And or how long will it be until Brainstorm is banned in historic?
And does time warp die to the sins of Brainstorm, much like Bridge to Below died for the sins of Hogak?
And even though it was in the sites to begin with, the Mox died for Urza's sins in modern.
Yeah, well, alright, so first off, hashtag free Mox. I've got a play set of Masterpiece.
Yeah, I was about to get a playset, and then they're like, nope, banned.
Yeah, stop buying my artifact cards, because every time you do, they get banned. Hashtag free the Mox. Also, cards broken.
Which one? Brainstorm?
Oh, Mox Opal.
Oh.
Modern.
No,
But Brainstorm's one of Magic's strongest cards. I would say that with how Magic currently uses the library as a resource, it's almost better than Ancestral Recall. In the same way that Lion's Eye Diamond, in plenty of circumstances, better than Black Lotus.
It's more situational,
Agreed, but when it's
but it is better in those situations, and very frequently, I think it's probably better more often than it's not. Yeah, you might be right about that.
Yeah.
The fact that it's an instant is particularly brutal.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's Thoughtseize protection.
Yes.
It is well, and especially right now with not Terramorphic Expanse, Fabled Passage. We have a premium fetch land in Historic, which really makes the card sick, since you don't even have to Brainstorm lock yourself.
Right.
You tuck the cards away and be done with them.
Mid-game mulligans.
Yeah.
Old EVH.
So, despite it being so obviously ludicrous, I like the idea of trying to preserve it as long as possible.
I agree.
I mean,
I like playing with Brainstorm.
yeah. Oh, it's fun. So, all right, I play Warhammer 40k. For a while, there was a game called War Machine. There was another minis game that gained a bunch of popularity and became, for a moment at least in America, bigger than Warhammer. And the big thing with War Machine was, stop whining. They're all broken. Yeah, okay, your opponent's Warcaster is so good he can knock down everybody on the battlefield, and that's just so broken and totally unfair. Well, your guy can, like, instant kill 3 guys on the opponent's team.
Right.
He's totally... It's all broken. It's crazy. That's the fun of it.
It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything's broken. It's a fun format.
Yeah. Just get good and make use of these broken cards. Yeah, don't cry about the broken cards. Just be awesome with them. So I like that idea of... I appreciate that they are they seem to be trying to make it work. That said, I've been playing every deck that I have played since the Mystical Archive came out in Historic.
Has been blue-red for Faithless and Brainstorm?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so, some version of blue and red for Faithless Looting and Brainstorm. They were all combos. When they, I don't know, the Ultimatum deck,
Yeah.
I don't know why I stopped playing that. It's still insane and awesome. But you could... I had switched over and I was doing that Velomachus Lorehold BS where you take all the infinite turns.
Which was in the Lost to Time episode, one of the things that I argued is with Brainstorm putting the Time Warp on top for Lorehold's ability to cast it. It's a Swiss Army knife for the deck.
Yeah, that deck was way too sexy. Way too sexy, but getting rid of Time Warp is what was supposed to neuter that deck without getting rid of all these other
or
combo decks.
Maybe Historic is something that WotC's using to throw off the kitty gloves and get these newer kids used to some hardcore formats.
I mean, that very well could be. I think after getting to play this much Brainstorm...
Tendrils of Agony?
Yeah!
I mean, that's gonna fuck you up.
I mean, after having this much fun with it, when they do eventually someday ban Brainstorm, that's gonna make me think about, all right, so what do I need to do? What format do I need to get into? What cards do I need to buy so that I can keep playing with Brainstorm?
Commander.
Yeah. But yeah, I was playing the Is it Historic Phoenix deck.
Yeah.
And holy shit, Brainstorm is so good.
Dude.
I mean, it was phenomenal in a combo deck, but like I said, all that did was make it so it wins on turn 4. Well, so do Goblins, so do Elves, so does Mono White, so does Mono Black, so does every fucking deck in Historic.
But that's good for time's sake.
Well, yeah. I mean, it makes it a fast, exciting format. It's also a complex enough format that if somebody disrupts their opponent, I mean, I've had some long, intense games of Historic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that said, having now played Brainstorm in just an aggro deck as well as combo decks, and it's like, this is... Whew, I can't believe I'm allowed to do this.
Dude, now imagine a format where you get a Brainstorm and throw a sorcery on top for your Delver to go live turn 2.
Grotesque.
Because you turn 1 Delver, then turn 2 untap upkeep, Brainstorm, flip Delver, beats for 3.
I want to say Brainstorm was legal. I top 8'd a PTQ a long time ago playing Through the Breach Protean Hulk. I don't know if you remember that weird combo, but you would do this weird cycle of sacrificing Protean Hulks.
And grab all the XX artifacts?
No, you'd grab up a Carrion Feeder and a Mog Fanatic.
Huh.
And you would sack the Fanatic to deal 1 damage to your opponent, and somehow your Carrion Feeder would resurrect him. It's been a long time since I've read the text on any of these cards. But you could just do an infinite loop and ping them to death that way.
Right.
But Brainstorm made that deck work too. That was standard. What was that?
Was it standard or extended?
Maybe it was extended.
Because when extended came out...
Champions of Kamigawa is where Through the Breach was, so it must have been extended. Was it extended?
Supposedly we're going back to Kamigawa.
Hey, that's fun. I think that's... I really like that idea. I know R&D, or not R&D, but marketing's had a problem with it since... Ooh, that sounds like it's on.
It's on. Yeah, dog.
I know that the marketing had a problem with it since nobody liked Kamigawa the first time around.
Yeah, but there's nuance to that. One, it's the sandwich meat between some of Magic's most iconic sets of all time.
Yeah.
One of them, I believe, being the most broken blocks
Mirrodin?
of all time.
Yeah. The other thing, what's the...
Well, it's a cool plane, and it's
Saber?
based on Japanese mythology, which at least a lot of Americans are interested in. And I would assume that probably a lot of Japanese people are also pretty interested in their own mythology.
It was a Legendary Matters set before Commander existed. So a lot of Commander players have just stumbled across Kamigawa and they're like,
Yeah.
this set was gas.
Yeah.
And with Commander in mind, Kamigawa's broken.
Yeah.
Now, part of the problem with the set is it's incestuous. Like, it only works with itself. Like, the spirits. I mean, you can find some spirit synergy, especially in some Innistrad sets, but it was mostly like green and black spirits versus white blue.
That seems like a design flaw, though. That doesn't seem... That's not innate to the play.
Right. And then there's the Splice into Arcane, which they've made new Splice into Instants. But I think it was the second set. They switched designers midway through. And they gave the guy... They're like, hey, we've got to redo this. So the whole set was rushed. So yeah, the cells weren't good, but the set wasn't put together nearly to the same capacity as those around it.
Right.
But supposedly it's going to be a Tokyo cyberpunk, like modern Kamigawa.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the rumor. Which means more artifacts.
I'm just waiting.
I actually hope this is.
I'm just waiting to find out if the lore rumor is true.
Going back to lower one?
Well, so
Yeah.
I've got some.
That's what a post from Arrow, like a poll from Arrow.
So I've got some lore that can support a return to Lorwyn. So during the second Zendikar, Nissa had planeswalk. One of the stories is she's planeswalk. This is like her origin story when that was made.
Yeah.
And I think this was right before Origins. But they talk about when she first planeswalked away from Zendikar because she was about to talk to the soul of Zendikar and it freaked her out. She ended up on Lorwyn. The soul of Lorwyn was coming at her for the Eventide, and it was a dark soul. And it was like, I'm coming for you. I'm paraphrasing. But like, scared the fuck out of her. She planeswalked immediately back to Zendikar. And so like, she wants to help the world souls. So it's possible, if we're leaning back into Nissa, because we haven't seen her for like a set or two, that we go there. Also, Karn has been wanting to go back to...
Old Mirrodin.
Yeah. So during Dominaria, that set, when the lore, Teferi helped Karn salvage one of Urza's bombs that was supposed to... It's a planar bomb. It will...
Legacy weapon?
No, it's not the legacy. It's something different. But this is... It will wipe out a plane, and Karn's wanting to go and just like... Doop, and just wipe it out. But somebody's like, can't you just do that later? It's not like they're going anywhere. Look at Kaldheim. I think we got to go deal with that now. So with Kaldheim and that little piece of lore, it makes me think that we're going to go to Mirrodin and Kamigawa.
I think from the Kaldheim lore that I did read, there was some Phyrexian oil dripping off of Oriflex.
Yeah.
So there's that on Kaldheim.
Oh yeah, they're going to complete the world tree.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's super cool. But speaking of Phyrexians, there is a Phyrexian secret lair. And linguists, I guarantee you, there's linguists that are into Magic, are going to decipher the Phyrexian language. Because all 5 of them are in the Phyrexian. We've already had Leshnorn as a judge promo in Phyrexian. We're getting the whole thing.
Yeah, we are. I didn't even see how much that was going to be either.
Like 30. I don't understand why there's price differences.
For foil and non-foil?
Well, no. For that makes sense, because foil is objectively more material.
Yeah.
It is an extra machine. They already own it. That doesn't matter.
Well,
it's still an extra step.
I think the prices, though, are more secondhand market.
Which they're not supposed to acknowledge, because then it's gambling.
No, like, it's the secondhand market, like, when they get their hands on it.
No.
Change price.
I buy 4 of every Secret Lair.
Yeah, off of Wizard's site. Right?
Yes.
I'm talking about off of like.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about like if TCG players sell.
Right. No, I get that because the second it's just like sneakers. If you're lucky enough to get it and can afford it when it comes out, cool. But if not, then you're going to pay a premium. But they'll have this Phyrexian one that they know people are hype about, and it'll be like $35, $40.
I'll check.
And then they'll have another one that's $29.99. It costs them pennies to the dollar to print, and they just give you all this garbage.
Yeah, I saw you over one of those. Yeah,
Yeah, there's just a lot of trash. Now the new that is something worth talking about. On the new Secret Lairs, they look like
like
the spell books.
Spell books?
Yeah, they're about that size. Still a lot of garbage, right?
Yeah.
But less garbage.
Well, I do kind of like the old boxes that the Secret Lairs came in.
Well,
I still have one that I got from you. That was you.
Yeah.
It as a deck box.
well, see, that's something I'm working on with a buddy of mine, and feel free to bug me on TikTok if you're interested. He's got a 3D print that you put in there, and it has room for the Ultra Pro little life counters and your deck, and then like a slot for your commander to go in.
On day one.
Oh yeah. So we already talked about the Mark Pool one, but I don't think we said what cards were in it. We've got Balance, Birds of Paradise, Brainstorm, Counterspell, Howling Mind, and Wasteland. That's a lot of value for 35. I think it's $35.
Foil is probably like the 40.
45.
Yeah.
But like
and non-foil is probably 29.
Wasteland historically $40 card.
Yeah.
Birds of Paradise 10.
Yeah.
There's your money. So if you were gonna buy either one of those in the coming future, just buy that.
Even if you get like the non-foil version, Wasteland by itself.
Supposedly this time it's etched foiling. Now I hope it is not
Like the
Strixhaven, where it's like somebody coughed a little bit and some etched foiling like landed on the card.
Yeah.
Versus like Command of Legends, where they gave a shit.
Those were too dark.
That's true, but like that was the premier set of it.
think-
I'm willing for some hiccups.
Two etched foils, I think, are better. I don't know if you picked up any.
Nah, well, I'll be opening my collector boosters tonight or tomorrow. Check it. This is a week later. AcquireGaming.com on TikTok. Alright, so we got another one that's
Link in
breakfast
the
cereal.
description.
Yeah, if Corey will do it. Yell at Corey if there's anything wrong. I don't care if it's me. If it's me you're correcting,
Corey's home address in the description.
Like all your
we should do a P.O. box.
like your Instagram and your TikTok are both in there by default.
Okay, hell
At
yeah.
all times.
Alright, so we got a breakfast cereal theme.
Okay.
And all the art is drawn like, Frankenstein or Count Dracula or whatever the fucking...
I didn't see this.
So there's Commander Sphere, there's Hero's Downfall, there's Impact Tremors, there's Whir of Invention, there's some white spell that I can't read, but there's Primal Vigor. That's what you're buying it for, which is nerfed doubling season, which is still doubling season. It doesn't double loyalty counters, just +1 counters, but it does double tokens.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, is that the one that's just half of the doubling season?
No.
No, that's correct.
Right. Alright, then we got one. This one, I think, has a lot of modern people's eyes. It's got Spell Queller, Spirit, solid card. Soul Scar Mage, once again, red deck wins solid card. Steve, Sakura Tribe Elder. You randomly see him pop up.
Right.
Metallic Mimic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
These all have Fiona Staples art.
Yes. Shout out to her. She did an amazing job.
I'm not familiar with her.
Then we have the Mother's Day one, which is just 4 different arts for Mother of Runes. And supposedly, if somebody wants to fact check this for me, it was done by Rebecca Gway's son and daughter. And then we've got another one with Archaeomancer, Bloom Tinder. That'll be a collector's item.
Yeah, that would.
Meteor Golem. I've seen some commander decks tech it in. 7 colorless, 3/3, I think. ETB, destroy target permanent.
When it ETB's target non-permanent is just bonk the money.
Yep.
Mother daughter.
And then Mesa Enchantress.
What?
Yeah,
Rebecca and her daughter.
Oh, okay.
And then also Elliot Mitchell, who maybe that is her son.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
And then we've got the Signets, which we already talked about.
At first, I thought it was just like the Allied color ones, but I saw both.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to have to buy both of these.
Did you buy the Kaldheim Shockland ones?
No.
Why not?
I didn't know about them until after.
Oh, brutal, man. That was such good value. So, just historically, a Shockland is roughly $10 to $15 minimum.
Yeah.
You would get 3 in a box, and each one costs $30. So, assuming they're all the $15 ones, you make $15 for every one you buy. Now, there were 5 of them, so 15 total. So you end up with an extra 5 Shocklands on top of making money off each person. Like, I don't like that WotC is competing with people that sell singles, because objectively that's what's happening. But it's not like they're just hemorrhaging like Shocklands. Shocklands held their value. And they're still going to hold it. Right, like they're still going to hold their value. But it gave people on a budget a chance to buy them super cheap. And there's something to that.
Yeah, I would agree.
The only Secret Lair that I was kind of really against, I didn't even care for the Walking Dead one.
Right.
No.
Did you see their recent post about that?
No.
Alright, so they're gonna do more Universe Beyond.
But they're not going to, are they not going to do them in style?
Oh, they're definitely doing them in Secret Lair.
No, I mean, like, to where it's just a unique card never going to be made anywhere else.
So this
They're gonna
was
do 'em later
on last week's episode, right?
in
The one lost to time. So they're going to do it. You remember how the From the Vaults had a preview card every time? So like From the Vaults Dragon had Hellkite Overlord.
Oh, yeah.
And then From the Vault Relics had Sword of Body and Mind.
Yeah.
So the Secret Lairs will have the Godzilla technology for the Magic card subname, and will be a preview of an upcoming set.
Okay, so it'll be like, let's say we're going to
Harry Potter comes out.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Within 6 months, we will get a Magic card that is in Magic Universe that is functionally identical to Harry Potter.
What I was saying was they would always do it like Harry Potter, Wizard Prodigy, and then, since Kelly was saying Godzilla style, underneath that will say just a card we haven't seen yet.
Right, but that card that we haven't seen yet will be in a set in the next six months.
Yep. And then there is one caveat: they're not gonna have the name of the Magic card underneath, which will add a slight layer of complication. I mean, you'll kind of have to pay attention to that functionality, which at the time that they're coming out, I don't think will be difficult at all. Obviously, you'll be looking forward to it.
I think they should too.
Well, 10 years from now.
Technicality, that would be 2 different cards, and you can have 8 of the same effect.
Yeah. Well, I think if they're marking that it is and whatever the universe is beyond, then you'll know to check. But that said, 10 years from now, are you going to remember that Harry Potter and Fledgling Wizard came out in the same year and think to, you know what I'm saying? I think that's what'll end up being difficult is way in the future when you got to remember, like, okay, wait, Hellkite's the same as Warhammer 40k dropship.
Yeah,
You're absolutely correct.
Do the Realms Beyond ones as like silver border, and then
I mean, I'd be down with that.
And then have the black border one in like a standard or modern league.
I think, I mean, they still want to have that kind of Secret Lair swag,
right?
Where if I want to have a whole bunch of elves in my deck, and then a Warhammer Thunderhawk.
I
Just like
was thinking more like a bunch of elves in the deck. You have Legolas leading the group.
Yeah.
yeah.
So factor in the fact that number one Magic format is kitchen table, be it Commander or I Have What I Have or some mimicry of a format where, you know, it's modern-esque just because that is what we have. How many of those people do you think will know? And
0, and I think probably 0 to 1 will give a damn.
right.
I think if I was just playing on my kitchen table and I had Harry Potter and then Young Wizard came out and I was like, they do the same. I get 8 copies of this in my deck.
Yeah.
I'd love it.
But also in that equation is how many of those are going to have but you don't want to bank on human error. You want to have the systems in place.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying they should like do it 100%.
Well, and here's the number one caveat I've seen criticized on that post. One, there's a lot of people like, but they say we plan to, which is a non-committal.
Yeah, they can change it.
Yeah.
I mean, that also, though, again, like, kitchen table Magic probably does not have a whole lot to do with
Secret Lair.
with the Magic that's described in the rule books and available on Arena and MTG.
You're not.
You know, I mean, that's, like I said, when we were young, we put all of our lands out every turn and we drew to 7 cards. I mean, we had no idea.
This Ancestral Recall's garbage, man. I draw 7 every turn.
Well, it really kind of was. It was just like, what's the point of that?
Reminds me of the old, I think, Digimon card game, the old American version.
The rock, paper, scissors one?
Yeah, where every one of your turns you just draw right back up to your starting hand size.
Yeah.
And you have like a 40, like a Yu-Gi-Oh sized deck.
Oh, yeah. A weird game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
Almost bought a collection.
completely butchered that from the Japanese version, and if you did, I would want just a couple of them.
That was the plan.
Like, War Greymon. What was Veedramon's?
Let's look up War Greymon.
The American version?
Yes.
But what was Veedramon's mega?
Is Digimon, is that not Pokemon?
Nope.
No.
Did every card end in Mon?
Yeah.
Like Agumon, Vmon, Gabumon, Gomamon.
Oh, God.
Best thing I saw was somebody was saying that that's probably like their file name. Like for Agumon, it was like Agu.mon.
Yeah.
It's a .mon file.
Makes sense.
Since they're all digital.
That is really weird.
Alright, so that's the new game. Because it took me some Google foo last time I looked this up. But I do believe the Chase version of the War Greymon currently is going for like $300 or $400.
Jeez.
You know why? Because all the cores in the world. The only one I'd really want is like War Greymon.
Like,
yeah. Well, not getting it to pull up. But better buy it now than later. If there's one thing I've learned. And those niches, they get few and far between. That's why I got my Shadowless Charizard now. I got it late. I got it real. Yes. I just need to.
It's a little scuffed up on top.
It is. It is mild play on 90% of the card, and then the corner just got creased. But out of all the heavy play ones I could find, or damaged, whatever you want to call it, it's the least heavy play or damaged one I could find. So I'll take it because it was better than the one I had, which was.
It's still good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, I think we kind of covered everything. You got any closing thoughts you want to?
Jumpstart. Fuck you. That's all I got.
Still great. at the beginning of this, I am starting on Twitch.
Yes.
Well, been doing Twitch for a month.
Zepion.
Every Friday is going to be Magic related, just Friday Night Magic. I'll explain more tomorrow when I actually do a stream.
Okay.
So if anyone on here,
What time?
I want to start between 7:30 and 8.
Okay. Now, mind you, this will probably be up in a week.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be on the first one. They're going to be on the second.
Yep, I know.
All right. And then, the only other thing is, if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. We've got 4, I believe, last I looked. Maybe. Really helps. We need to get to 100 so we can have the custom URL so it's easier to find. So if you are here watching us, it makes a world of a difference. Check us out on TikTok. It's mostly me. Bastion's been on it once or twice. He sponsored a pack, VIP booster.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then Corey never leaves his house unless I pay him. So he's never on my TikTok. But and then Instagram mirrors a lot of TikTok. Sometimes I'll do exclusive posts there. Sometimes I do exclusive on TikTok. So if you want a little bit of everything, gotta follow us on all the channels. But that's it for this game. We'll see you next.
iScoop.
So